In 1911, the capital was moved from Kolkata to Delhi. It would seem that this is too far north, but at that time, the territory of India was part of the British Raj, as well as the territories of modern Pakistan and Bangladesh. So these changes are logical for faster logistics. Delhi is actually located in the center of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. However, within the current borders, Nagpur would be a better option. Only 100 kilometers from the center of the population, and also, it is equidistant from the largest metropolitan areas and is located away from the state borders of India. In this video, I have calculated the population center of Asian countries, identified the main logistics routes, and will offer better options for the role of the capital. You will also find out which capital in Asia is closest to its population center. Let's start with Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City is the most populated city, but the country's capital, Hanoi, is located on the opposite side. It seems that with this configuration, it is impossible to offer any better option for the capital, but I'm going to try. To do this, I will find the population center of Vietnam. With each city, the red marker shows the equal distance point for each inhabitant of these cities. That is, the larger the city's population and the further away it is, the more it pulls the population center. The country has a bizarre shape, so the central part has only 10% of the all inhabitants, while the northern part has 36% and the southern part 54%. So the center of Vietnam's population is even outside the country. In Laos, almost 700 kilometers from the capital, or 41% of the optimal, given the size of the country. This is even worse than Bratislava and Havana. In my opinion, a good option would be to return the capital to Hue City, which was already the capital before the French protectorate. Next is Pakistan. The country's population is concentrated in the Indus Valley. Karachi is the largest city. It was the capital until 1959. Then the capital was temporarily moved to Rawalpindi, and since 1967 to Islamabad. However, the population center of Pakistan is 500 kilometers to the south, near the city of Multan. This is a fairly large city with a rich history, located at the intersection of important routes from north to south, and from west to east. I consider it the best option for the capital of Pakistan. India is on the 38th place. Its main cities are arranged in a kind of diamond, with the peaks in the Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and Kolkata areas. In the center of this diamond, the population density is lower, and there are no large metropolitan areas. But this is where a red mark is going. In 1911, the capital was moved from Kolkata to Delhi. It would seem that this is too far north, but at that time, the territory of India was part of the British Raj, as well as the territories of modern Pakistan and Bangladesh. So these changes are logical for faster logistics. Delhi is actually located in the center of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. However, within the current borders, Nagpur would be a better option. It is equidistant from the largest metropolitan areas and is located away from the state borders of India. The capital of the United Arab Emirates is Abu Dhabi, but look how close the population center is to the city of Dubai. Only 4 kilometers away. If Dubai were the capital, it would take first place in the ranking with 99% of optimality. Next is another country in the Arab world, Syria. The majority of the population lives in the west of the country, and the leading cities are located in the line: Aleppo, Hama, Homs, Damascus. The main transportation routes from the Mediterranean coast to the Euphrates pass through Homs and Hama. Near these cities is also the center of the country's population. The city of Hama would be the best option for the capital, as it is the largest city in Syria farthest from the state borders. Let's check out Manila. Look how many cities are centered around the capital of the Philippines. Manila is one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world with a population of 25 million. And the island of Luzon is the fourth most populated island on the planet. However, other densely populated islands are pulling a red mark to the south. Although Manila ranks only 35th in the ranking, I do not see a better option for the capital. 34th place, Beijing. The Chinese capital is located in the east, where almost all of the country's residents lives. Before we continue with China, I would like to call on you to support the channel with subscriptions and sponsorship. This is super important for further growth and improvement of the content. In addition, you will get nice benefits. Thanks. So let's continue. At this moment, the population center is located near the city of Chengdu. No wonder it is called the hub of all of Western China. Look at how much the center of the population is attracted to the south by the megacities of Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. Then, it moves northeast to the city of Wuhan. Some of you may ask, only the top 300 largest cities are taken into account here, and if there are 1,000 or 10,000 of them, then surely the population center will be elsewhere. It makes sense, but for most countries, even the top 20 cities are enough to determine the population center quite accurately. For example, in China, the first 6 cities are enough, and we see that the population center is close to Wuhan, and then it shifts slightly. Wuhan is also a key hub in China's transportation system, both land and water. So in my opinion, Wuhan is the best option for today's China. The capital of Azerbaijan is in 33rd place. Baku is located on this small peninsula, where 31% of the country's inhabitants is concentrated. The population center is 107 kilometers to the west. The actual capital of South Korea is Seoul. However, we already know that the new capital is being built right now in the city of Sejong. Now, let's check how much the Koreans paid attention to the center of the population when choosing a location for the new capital. As you can see, it is quite close, only 18 kilometers away. Although Seoul is also almost an ideal location for Korea, but the one that was 80 years ago. Let's go back to the Caucasus. Georgia is located between 2 ridges of the Caucasus Mountains. Its population center is located near the town of Kashuri, 97 kilometers west of Tbilisi. Malaysia is next. This country stands out because most of its territory is located on the island of Borneo, but the majority of the population is concentrated on the mainland. And the location of Kuala Lumpur is optimal for the mainland. Given the territory on the island of Borneo, the center of the population shifts to the east. As a result, Kuala Lumpur gets 80% of the optimal location. 29th place, Taipei, the capital of Taiwan, is located in the north of the island, where the most densely populated areas are located. Cities such as Kaohsiung and Tainan pull a red mark to the south, 70 kilometers from the capital. Riyadh is located a bit to the east, while the most densely populated regions of Saudi Arabia are in the west. This explains the rather large distance of Riyadh to the center of the population. It is about 356 kilometers. Paradoxically, there are no large cities at the intersections of the most important routes. Given the country's financial situation and desire for mega-projects, it would not be a surprise if the Saudis approved the construction of a new capital somewhere at the intersection of these roads. For instance, right here, close to the main Muslim shrine of Mecca, and at the same time not so far from Riyadh and Medina. In 1997, the capital of Kazakhstan was moved from Almaty to Astana, but was there a better option? It may sound strange, but Kazakhstan is similar to Vietnam. Yes, the majority of the population also lives in the north and south, while the central part is mostly uninhabited plains. In such a situation, it is difficult to find the best location for the capital. Given the main routes, Karaganda could be a better option. It is located away from the seismically active region of the south, and at the same time away from the Russian border. Pyongyang became the capital as a result of the division of Korea into north and south. Both have a weak capital position relative to the population center. As I said earlier, Seoul is the original capital of the United Korean nation. The ally of Pyongyang is next in the ranking. The main cities of Russia are concentrated in the southwest. Initially, the population center moves from St. Petersburg to Moscow, but then changes its movement to the east. This is due to the large cities of the Urals, southern Siberia, and the Far East. Russia is unique in the way that its population center is located in a territory where a national minority lives. In Tatarstan, 240 kilometers from the city of Kazan, and 930 kilometers from Moscow. The capital of Kyrgyzstan is located near the border. Bishkek is the only city with a population of over 1 million, so it is strongly attracting the center mark and ranks 24th among Asian countries. Next up is Laos, the most controversial country in terms of the geographical location of the main cities. Look, the top 4 largest cities are located along the border with Thailand, including the capital. At the same time, Vientiane is not so far from the population center, which is outside the country. Colombo is the main city as well as the executive and judicial capital of Sri Lanka. The legislative capital is located in a suburb of Colombo with the difficult-to-pronounce city name. However, in my opinion, a better option is the city of Kandy, which is only 46 kilometers from the center of the population. In addition, it was already the capital of Sri Lanka before the arrival of the British in 1815. The capital of Israel is on the 21st place. Jerusalem is also an important religious center for 3 religions. Unfortunately, it has been the scene of millennial wars, and will not stop in the coming years. The center of Israel's population is located closer to the city of Tel Aviv, which is the country's financial center. It would probably be a better option for the capital given the greater distance from Sunni countries. The Japanese archipelago stretches from Taiwan to Sakhalin. The majority of the people lives on 4 islands: Hokkaido, Shikoku, Kyushu, and Honshu. The population of the last one exceeds 100 million inhabitants. Therefore, the center mark is also here, just 59 kilometers from the city of Nagoya. In 1868, the emperor's residence was moved from Kyoto to Tokyo, and a year later, Japan annexed the island of Hokkaido. This is not a frequent case when the capital moved preventively to expand its territory. At present, Nagoya looks like a good option for the capital, if we ignore the historical and cultural aspects. About 80% of Turkmenistan's territory is desert. The majority of the population lives in the valleys of the Amudarya and Margab rivers, as well as in the capital Ashgabat. Uzbekistan is definitely also on my list of unusual and unique countries. The capital city of Tashkent is located literally on the border with Kazakhstan. The majority of the population living in the Fergana Valley, and 70% of the territory being uninhabited semi-desert. Tashkent's location looks as abnormal as possible. Indeed, If you look into history, it turns out that Tashkent was the capital of Turkestan, within much more area and big cities. In the current borders, the city of Jizik would be a good option. The main road of Uzbekistan, connecting Fergana and Nukus, passes through it. It's also not far from Tashkent and Karshi, and away from the borders. The 17th place is probably the youngest capital in this ranking. In 2005, the Myanmar government moved the capital from Yangon to Naypyidaw. This is quite close to ideal, because Naypyidaw is located between the two largest cities in the country and is 30 kilometers closer to the center of the population than Yangon. Oman is almost deserted, except for the northern regions. Just the city of Salalah draws the population center significantly to the south. Without it, Muscat would be 35 kilometers closer to the population center and would be ranked 7th in the ranking of Asian countries. Kabul is located to the east of the geographical center of the country, but the population center is much closer. It is only 115 kilometers to the west, or almost 90% given the size of the country. The main cities of Tajikistan are located in the Fergana Valley and in the southwest of the country. The only road connecting them passes through Dushanbe. Therefore, it deservedly received 91% of the optimal score. Sumatra and Java are among the top 5 most populated islands in the world. Obviously, the center of Indonesia's population will be near them. But let's see how far east other cities on the Big Islands will pull it. So, the population center is currently located in the Java Sea, 280 kilometers from Jakarta. In 2022, construction began on a new capital in the east of Borneo. In my opinion, this is a bad choice, not only because it is much further from the center of the population. Nusantara is looking towards a sparsely populated part of the country, while logistics from the islands of Sumatra and Java will be significantly worse. The island of Borneo is a good option for establishing a new capital, but it had to be done in its western part. From here, there is a direct sea connection not only with the main cities of the country, but also with all the countries of Southeast Asia. Yemen in the borders you see now was formed only in 1990, with the capital in Sana'a, and in 2015, it was again split into north and south as a result of the civil war. Sana'a is located 88 kilometers from the population center of the United Yemen, and for northern Yemen, Sana'a has an ideal location. Looking at the calculation of the population center of Mongolia, it seems that its territory is almost evenly populated, but this is not the case at all. Most of the yellow dots are small settlements. In fact, the only big city in the country is the capital, Ulaanbaatar. Initially, the center of Turkey's population heads to Istanbul, the former capital of the Byzantine and Ottoman empires, but then it moves eastward to the current capital city of Ankara. And this is a very good option for the capital. Ankara is located closer to the west of the country, where the largest cities in Turkey are located. At the same time, Ankara is much closer to cities such as Adana, Gaziantep, and Erzurum than Istanbul. It is well-deserved 10th place in the ranking. Like Turkey, Iran's population is also concentrated in the western part of the country. The capital, Tehran, is also located northwest of the geographical center. Despite the fact that Iran is ranked quite high at 9th place in the ranking, there is an even better option for the capital. Look, here is the main route of Iran, which connects Tabriz and the Persian Gulf. And here's the second most important route, which connects the Euphrates Delta with the large city of Mashhad. They intersect in the city of which is located just 54 kilometers from the population center. Moreover, is also considered one of the main shrine for Shiite Muslims. 8th place, Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, as well as the second most populous city of Ta Keo, are located in the south of the country. They have a decisive influence on life in Cambodia. There is the highest population density, and as a result, a red mark is also close by. The people of Nepal mainly lives in the south, as the Himalayas are located in the north. It is difficult to propose another option for the capital when the current one is located near the center of the population and is the only large city in the country. Baghdad is on the 6th place. Almost the entire inhabitants of Iraq lives in the Tigris and Euphrates valleys. Baghdad is ideally located in the center of the valley. In addition, the densely populated Kurdish regions of the north are balanced by the city of Basra, which is second in population only to Baghdad. The capitals of Armenia and Lebanon are in 5th and 4th place. These are quite centralized countries. About half of the total population lives in Yerevan and Beirut. But this does not diminish the fact that their location is excellent. For example, Mongolia and Oman are also centralized, but they are much lower in the ranking. Here are the top 3. Dhaka is one of the largest metropolitan areas in Asia, and Bangladesh is probably the most densely populated country in the world. Geographical features help the capital of Bangladesh to be in the top 3. This is how the route connecting the third most populous city of Khulna with the second most populous city of Chittagong looks like. And here is the route connecting large cities in the north of the country. Both of them pass through Dhaka. The fact is that the country's territory lies in the delta of the Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers. Currently, there are only 2 bridges connecting the east and west of the country. As a result, Dhaka is only 13 kilometers from the center of the population and receives an incredible almost 98% in the ranking. Bangkok is in 2nd place, thanks to the unique shape of the country's territory. Indeed, moving from the north to the resort south, it is very difficult to pass by Thailand's capital. Moreover, the city is located in a sheltered bay and is the main seaport of the country. These conditions have contributed to the development of the city, which now has about 25% of the country's population. Honestly, before making this video, I thought that someone from Baghdad, Dhaka, or Bangkok would take first place, but it is not so. Amman, the capital of Jordan, is in first place. The contrast in population density helped it take the top position in the ranking. Look, 90% of Jordan's population lives here, while it is only 10% of the total territory. Amman is located only 6 kilometers from the center of the population, which is almost 99%. This is even better than the leaders of America and Europe, which I talked about in previous videos. Let us know in the comments whether the result is fair. Maybe some other capital should have been on the first place? Next, I plan to make a similar video about the population center of historical or ethnic territories, but only if I see high interest from viewers in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you in new videos.